Being Your Best You with Dr. Kyre.
I'm exceptional, thank you. How are you today?
I'm so good.
Blocks to bold, brass to gold, better to best. We all get caught in mental mazes, believing that we have to live the way others see us, or being taught to think things through. Dr. Kyre is an agent of change using Geotran human programming and activations to quickly and easily release people from the automatic patterns and inner glitches that block their healthy, wealthy, happy life. Instead of going where our innate circuitry takes us. Being in alignment with you is the best way to create your best life. Are you ready to be your best self? Being Your Best You with Dr. Kyre. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and welcome back. Here I am, Dr. Kyre Adept, and by the time this is broadcast, I will be in France again. Hooray! And today, I will be joined by Dr. Kevin Richardson. We are, after all, a paradox, and we are going to be talking about addictions. And this, I think, will be helpful to a lot of people, not you, of course, but maybe other people that you know who have something that they cannot pull away from. So I welcome Dr. Kevin, who I'm sure is going to show up any second now, and we will look at addictions from the perspective of Geotran and also from the perspective of clinical hypnotherapy. Hey there, Dr. Kevin. Whee! Okay. So as you and I, of course, were discussing earlier, in Geotran, we look at addictions as behaviors more than substance related. So in my world, an addiction is defined as a behavior that creates a biochemical change. And that, of course, is then affecting the brain chemistry.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we're, as in everything with Geotran, we're always looking at it from the perspective of what's the underlying cause. And we're specifically looking at addictions as they relate to the soul level, what you think, feel, believe, and desire, more than the normal social, if I can put it that way, social medical view of addictions as being primarily to substances.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we can get you off the substance, but if you're still running the pattern that allowed you to hook that substance to hook into you, you're just going to find something to replace it with.
Exactly. And that's why it's such a difficult topic it's a difficult situation to treat. Let's put it that way. Because not only are you dealing with the behaviors and the habits, but you're also dealing with the rewiring of the brain.
Exactly so. And I think one of the reasons I enjoy so much the conversations that we have around these things is that I know that the hypnotherapeutic approach. I actually got the adjective right.
You got it! Yay!
Well, eloquence is my middle name. It is in fact different than the Geotran approach because, as our dear listeners already know, Geotran primarily uses the computer analogy. We say, what's going on in your inner computers that is creating this output? But we're also, Geotran's absolutely based on brain chemistry and brain patterning, whether that through into the physical brain chemistry or stays within the sort of psychological realm. But I imagine that addiction is something that clinical hypnotherapy is actually extremely useful for.
It is, and many recovery centers have hypnotherapists working with their clients.
Mm-hmm.
So with addictions, there's so many different types of addictions.
Oh, so true.
And that's really getting down to what is the main issue. And so hypnotherapy, like you, we work with the behaviors and we're reformatting, reframing the habit, the behavior. We're also looking at some of the causes, anxiety, stress, uh, self-esteem issues,
Mm-hmm.
self-ego issues. We work with that. But we also work in conjunction with the addiction team, which
Mm-hmm.
would be the physician, the MD, and the psychiatrist, psychologist. We all work together and we all have our different aspects. And hypnotherapy just helps in the reformatting,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
reframing. So,
So in a sense, what we're doing with Geotran is also reformatting. Now,
uh-huh.
Geotran, as you are aware, and I hope our listeners are by now also, Geotran is always using the coding language. So Geotran is a coding language, and
Mhm.
then Geotran, in the larger sense, is the body of work created by Dorothy Espio to deal with different computer glitches within human biocomputers. And as a coding language, it uses points, numbers, and geometries
Yes.
to change the energy flow. So, in that respect, it's a little bit like a non physical version of acupuncture, because acupuncture also regulates the
Mhm.
energy that flows through the meridians and points. And we
Right.
are using similar meridians and points, but we're not using needles. we are we are using points, numbers, and geometry. So the point says, okay, this is what the issue is, right? It relates to that point. So, for
Right.
example, if I had you touch right here on the midline, yeah, that would be a self, and if you were off,
Uh-huh.
right? In fact, why don't you touch that for me, if you would?
Got
And I'll
it.
test it, okay? And it's off, big surprise. Then you would take your right hand and go clockwise over that point and say 4-2.
4-2.
Okay, and touch the point again. Okay, it's on. But another way that we could have done that was not have you touch the point, but just say, I have 100% self-esteem.
I have 100% self-esteem.
Well, you do now because, of course, we fixed it. But I could have had you do it as a verbal pretest, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But you see how quickly we can change the energy in that point. So we're looking at the circuitry.
Okay.
Right? And the circuitry is in the energy body as a whole, but specifically it's affecting the brain and the brain chemistry. See,
Mhm.
and so that is how and why in Geotran we would say an addiction is a behavior that is leading to a biochemical change. Yeah,
Right.
so whatever that behavior is, whatever that trait or characteristic, it's making the what's that word I'm looking for? That bit of your brain go bigger. The receptor.
The
The receptor.
receptors.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I believe in the classical medical approach to addiction. They particularly focus on the pleasure-seeking centers, whereas in Geotran we don't.
No, you
Particularly.
don't.
We are not saying, oh, this behavior lights up my pleasure centers and therefore I'm going to do more of it. That would be a conscious response.
Conscious decision.
We are saying, I'm looking at 2 pages, and this is a checklist that is available to anybody who cares to find us. There's page
Yes.
1. Yeah, there's a list of 60, and I'm actually going to amplify that. Here's page 2, which is a
Oh my
list of
gosh.
111 identified addictions. Okay, and none of these are substances. Yeah?
They're all behaviors.
They're all behaviors, and they're all the result of behaviors. Do you
Mhm.
see? So let me, here, you give me a number and I will tell you what it's because these are always numbers.
35.
You can do it by numbers. You see, 35.
35.
Blame. You can
Blame.
be addicted to blame. You can be addicted to being blamed. Give me another number.
65.
Okay, 65. Hang on a second. Lack. Oh, a lot of addiction to lack in the human race. Have you noticed that? Yeah.
Yes, consumerism is driven by lack.
It absolutely is. Yeah. So other things like 35 on this page is blame, but 35 on this page, because we start renumbering, is being late. I mean, not you, of course, but have you ever noticed the people around you who are
There are people that just
late?
and they just pack their schedule so full, and they don't take into account that there's drive time, there's walking time.
Yeah. But the addiction is to being late.
Late.
Right? So similarly, you could end up having the same result, but the addiction might be to overly busy, overly stressed, overwhelm. Yeah. So it's just really, to me, it's really interesting as an inner computer programmer. I remember once hearing my teacher, Dorothy SPO, say, so what we're working on in this class is how the God of this world is messing with us this time. Yeah, it's all these, new and interesting ways that we can be messed with. So, but my point is that, I mean, I love it that that you, not me, but you can go in at a clinical level and say, okay, we can interview this person. We can find out what the core of this addiction may be. We can see what it's like symptomatically, and we can use hypnotherapy and other techniques to change their behavior. Now, I am a great believer in shortcuts. So I can tell you that we can use a checklist. We can identify what addictions you've got, and we can use the addiction clearing, which takes approximately 5 seconds.
Yay!
Should we do that first, and then you can do some hypnotherapy after?
Yes.
All right. So, are you willing to be our guinea pig for today?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay. By the way, the 15th, which we happen to be taping on the 17th, the 15th is Guinea Pig Appreciation Day. So guinea pigs are just in the forefront of everyone's mind at the moment. I mean, obviously. Okay.
Lucy and Ricky, may you rest in peace. Those are 2 guinea pigs.
So here is a way that we can approach this. Of course, I have a checklist of questions, even before we look at what the specific addictions are.
Yes.
Before I identify them. So I'm going to ask these questions for you. We're going to assume, just for the purposes of this demonstration, that Dr. Kevin has an addiction to something. Right? Okay. All right. Yeah. This person has addictions. Actually, no. This person is open to the addictions of others. Ooh, that's a yes.
Yeah.
This person is attracting others who have addictions. Well, it's part of his clinical work, so yeah, but
that's what I do.
His personal life. Now, here's the interesting part. This person is attracting astral visitors with these addictions. So these are like the non-physical, incorrect spirits that we were talking about in our last show. Yeah. Right?
The entities.
Which was about insomnia.
The spirits.
This body person realizes that others have specific addictions, yet is still hanging around with them. See, there's some responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, this person has entry points for the addictions of others. That is to say, there are boundary conditions that are allowing the addictions of others to come in. Mm-hmm. And this body person has parts that have the addictions. So, pyramids point up, down, 12 biocomputers, inners, pyramids, organs, glands, elements, divine elements, meridians, energy bodies, etc. And of course, I have a checklist for each of these because that's how we work. So where I would be coming in with, or where I am coming in with, is what do we need to know? What's our best question for you right now.
Yes.
And I'm going to go down this little list. Is it on this list? Yes, it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this body person's attracting astral visitors. I bet you never knew that about yourself.
Actually, I did.
Okay. In astral planes, yeah, which are full of illusion. I mean,
Yes.
honestly, please, New Age people, no blame, no shame, no judgment, but please stop doing those astral walks. Do not leave your body open for astral visitors. Please, 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 please. Okay. So, what is it about you that is attracting or allowing astral visitors who have these addictions? Because they're around all the time and they're going, oh, that one looks tasty. Oh, I align with that one over there. So it's almost like there's some part of your field that has, if I can put it this way, a pre-addiction or an alignment with an addiction that hasn't gone into being an addiction, but these
predisposed.
Yes, like a miasm in homeopathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would that be? Now, can we find it out by finding out what the addictions are? Yes, we can. Right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to clear this potential addiction before it gets to be an actual addiction.
Okay.
I mean, it's, as I said, great believer in shortcuts here. Okay. So is it on this page? Is it on this page? It's on my page 2, the one with 111. I'm really, really good at formatting pages so that they cap the maximum amount of information, but you can still read them. Okay, and they're all by number. 0 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 50 to 55, 50, 51, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hypocrisy. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah. Now you see what we're doing here. This is something that Kevin himself does not know about because it's going on in his subconscious. And we are not blaming, we are not judging, we're just not. What we're saying is, what is allowing these energies that are not you to come in and mess with your behavior and your patterns?
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And this is a surprise to me too. This hypocrisy is not a condition I would associate with Dr. Kevin.
Me either.
Okay, so let's ask the question, have we correctly identified this? And they're saying, yeah. So let's play with it, because it may be just some version of this that
let's go with it. Let's go with it. Let's explore it.
Okay, so this body has an addiction to hypocrisy? Yeah, or at least a prequel type addiction. So there's a behavior involved here. So I want you to look at the people around you and see if someone has hypocritical behavior. And that is then affecting their astral visitors and probably coming through them into you.
No one comes to mind.
Okay, so is this somebody known to you in your life now? Yes. Okay. Male's a female person. So remember, this could easily be a client.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah.
Got it.
Okay, you see who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So just like we were doing recently with the insomnia, the infestations around insomnia, right? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to throw out this person and her guinea pigs too.
Okay.
In this case, her guinea pigs are incorrect spirits from the astral plane. Ready?
Yeah.
Splat. Okay. Now, this body still, because this has been around for a while, yeah, the energy's still there. We have to teach your system that this is not an energy that you are choosing to indulge. Yeah, at all.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So this body has an addiction to, what was it? Hypocrisy. Yeah. Okay. So this body now has an addiction. Actually, he doesn't. So because we identified enough, I think I was saying in our last call, our last conversation, that if you identify it 100%, usually it will just go away. And we also throw out the person. So, okay, so let's move on to the next one. I mean, we'll get to it. We have to demonstrate. It's okay. All right. So this body person is still attracting astral visitors with addictions. No, it was only the one. We dealt with it. It's done. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This body person realizes that others have specific addictions, but it's still hanging around with them. Mm-hmm. So who or what is that? What's the situation there? Now, remember, people, you pretty much cannot choose your family. You can choose your friends.
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, this is going to show up in terms of people in their family that on one level you did choose them, but go back and love yourself enough to choose a family that's going to love you better than this lot. I'm talking about my family. And, again, no blame, no judgment. And there are people who do have loving, supportive families. And even though I don't believe a word of their stories, I'm very happy for them.
There's ups and downs in every family.
Yeah. Well, Terry Gorski gave a wonderful set of talks about healthy relationships for adult children of alcoholics.
Yes.
Yeah. And one of the things that he said is, if you are among the 75 to 80% of Americans who grow up in a dysfunctional family, and you happen to run across, or even if you're really, really, really fortunate, go out with somebody from a healthy, mutually supportive family, you are going to listen to their stories and you will not believe them because they don't match your experience.
Right.
But they're true.
Yeah. It's honest. Yeah.
So you're doing something great with your alignment that you could even go out with a person like that. Good job. Okay. So who do you recognize as having addictions and you're still spending time with them because you're not understanding that if you walk with somebody who limps, eventually you're going to start to limp? And I am speaking, of course, as a chocolate addict here. Chocolate makes the world go round. It says.
And my addiction.
Well, there you go. You see?
Yeah, no one comes to mind.
Okay, well, let's get the addiction, and then maybe we'll see who it is more easily.
Okay.
Is it on this page? It's on this page. By the way, I'm noticing that on the first list, it does actually list alcoholism, drugs, caffeine, foods, and liquids. That's 5 out of 60 on page 1. Just mentioning. Okay.
Yeah, just mentioning.
Okay, 60 to 65, 65 to 70, 65, 6, 7, 8. So, I don't want to lay my expectation on this. I'm just doing it by number.
Okay.
68 is moroseness. Okay, guys, I'm not talking about my people I hang out with. I'm talking about people that he hangs out with. Who do you know who's morose?
Oh, golly. I do, and it's yeah.
You can see who it is? Yeah, you don't have to identify it to us.
No,
Okay.
not going to.
Good job. Okay. Incidentally, people, this is one of the ways in which I maintain confidentiality. I don't know who these other people are. I don't need to know as long as I've got enough to identify them with. Right? Furthermore, when I talk to the next client along, it's like the new information pushes out the old, and I don't even remember what most people have said to me. So I turn it into a virtue called confidentiality.
Yes.
Okay. So this body person has an addiction by proximity, by propinquity, which is not a word I get to use as often as I'd like.
Wow, what a fun word.
Isn't it? To moroseness. Yeah. Okay. Can we clear this using the addiction clearer? Yes, we can. Yay!
Yeah. Yay!
Okay. And by the way, I'm actually going to write the clearing up as part of this checklist for when people want this. All right. Okay. But it's super easy. You can remember this. Cone the fingers of both hands. One hand on the navel and one hand on the top of the head. Doesn't matter which hand. Yeah, because we're going to swap them anyway. We're going to count we're going to hold for 42 seconds, counting by twos. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, swap hands. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, release, seal. Whoa, felt that one move. This body is addicted to moroseness. That's a no. This body is free of the prior addiction to moroseness. That's a yes. You are no longer running that. So now you're going to be able to be much more detached around whoever this person is that you know who does have this addiction. You know, you get to stand back and say, wait a minute, that's not me. I know who I am. I don't have that addiction anymore. And that will actually give you an opportunity to help that other person if that other person chooses to be helped on this.
Okay.
Because certainly the first thing I do is teach them this clearing.
That's the best part.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I like doing this in bite-sized chunks. Okay, so there's somebody else, and I'm just going to find out what the addiction is, and we're going to make sure we have enough time for you to do your thing, your hypnotherapy thing, which we didn't last time. Okay, 100 to 105, 100, 101, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, sickness. Who have you been hanging out with who's addicted to sickness, to being sick, to being under the weather? A lot.
The one that comes to mind is no longer alive.
So is this the person? Mm-mm.
Someone that's alive that's addicted to sickness.
Okay, here's where we get really interesting. Is this a part of you? That's a yes. Okay, so where's my list? Inners, pyramids, organs, glands, elements, divine elements, meridians, or energy bodies. Energy bodies. Let's get a list. Okay.
I love your lists.
My lists are fabulous. It's true. I was trained by the best. Okay. Expanded energy bodies. And I have a 2-page list with 170 energy bodies on it.
Oh my God.
And we're going to do it by number. Right?
Yes.
Okay, 0 to okay, it's on the first page. No, it's on the second page. See how sneaky this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that page starts with number 86. It's between 86 and 113, 114 to 141. Okay, 114 to 120 to 120 to 125, 125 to 130, 125, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your rest body. Now, if your rest body, which is an energy body, has an addiction to sickness, do you think that might connect with your insomnia?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we have correctly identified this. We have identified this 100%. This body still has this addiction. Okay. Cone fingers, one hand on top of the head, one hand in the navel. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, and reverse. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2. I'm feeling it go. Fingertips together, say seal. This body's energy body, rest body, has an addiction to sickness. This body's energy body, rest body, is 100% clear to this addiction to sickness.
Cool. Yay. That was easy.
Okay, see, now where did I put my wand? You know, that's my opportunity to show off for today. Your turn, because I know that you also have very valuable ways of dealing with addictions that are just coming from this completely different direction. And it's like stereoscopic vision.
It is. It is.
So
we're all approaching the same issue, and we're all approaching it from different perspectives, which gives us a depth of understanding.
Yeah, that's right.
So typically when we're working with addictions, we're looking at the big 3, 4, 5. substance abuse, um, addiction to sex, addiction to different,
Physical things.
physical things, gambling.
Hmm.
Those seem to be the big ones. And typically with addictions, we're bringing in other professionals to help us. We're not the sole, or nor are we the primary. We are the secondary resource.
Okay.
And so the primary resources tend to be, like in the addiction centers, they have the medical doctor, they have the psychiatrist, they have the psychologist, and then some have the hypnotherapist. So,
Though, I hear everything you're saying. I do. But what's coming up into my mind is that wonderful story about the guy with the vegetables.
oh, I haven't heard that one.
Yes, you have.
Okay, I have.
Well, no, it's what you told it to us.
Oh,
Or maybe an easier one
okay.
is the gal who ate ice cream for dinner.
Oh, yes.
See, that's a behavior
It's a behavior.
leading to a biochemical change. She wanted to change. She wanted to lose weight.
Okay, now I understand what you're talking about. Okay, I'm in sync. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. With the guy with the vegetables, he hated vegetables.
Right.
So we just reformatted that and changed that to where the vegetables became attractive.
So here's where it connects up for me, is that what possibly part of his thing was he was addicted to hatred of vegetables.
Yeah.
Do you see?
That was his behavior.
No amount of conscious reconditioning was having any impact.
No.
And the same with the gal with the ice cream. She knew that she shouldn't be eating ice cream for dinner.
She knew, but that's what she wanted.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
by changing the behavior,
we changed the addiction.
you change the addiction.
Yeah.
So just to bring it down into the things that you do that you can offer to the people who are listening.
Right. And in hypnotherapy, we're really focusing on the individual and trying to find what that person is addicted to and what the root cause of it is.
Yes.
So in the geriatric population, there's a real high addiction to opioids.
Oh,
and there's a high addiction to alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to eliminate some type of pain behavior. They're trying to bring some comfort to their life and some peace to their life, whatever that may be. And in hypnotherapy, that's where we do the deep dive.
Yeah.
And we look into that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are instances where there are hypnotherapists that does group therapy, but when they do group therapy, they want to have the people that are having the addictions to have similar addictions.
Well, yeah.
To be in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Go figure. That doesn't take a doctor to figure that one out.
No, it doesn't. It's a paradox.
Yeah. So by identifying and putting like with like, then they're able to go in with their suggestions. Now, typically we do individual treatment with addictions because there's so many and so many different causes. Pain can be one. Stress, anxiety, anger.
Oh, frustration.
Frustration. Huge.
I mean, you and I are both in human design, you and I are both generators. That is our not self default.
Right.
Yeah? It's like when we're not being who we're designed to be, frustration is like always writing right there, waiting for us.
It's huge. It is huge. And so many folks who are in jobs that are extremely frustrating result to some form of pleasure seeking through some type of substance or behavior.
Whereas, what we like to do is we like to focus in on what the actual addiction is.
What the
which
actual
is
addiction
like
is.
frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we deal with more of the behavior, but the reason behind the behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we get the help of the psychiatrist. But with the hypnotherapist, they're able to go into the subconscious and really identify what the reasons are in the subconscious.
Yeah.
That's the really cool part about hypnotherapy.
Yep.
Is that we go down into the subconscious and we can talk directly with the subconscious and it will give us answers. It will talk back.
Yep. Yes,
So,
we do a lot of that too. So I really get what you're saying here.
so
We try not to land in it.
yes. So typically, like food addiction, there can be self-esteem, there can be trauma, there can be sexual abuse, there can be rape, especially among women.
Yeah.
And so working with women and food addictions, we're getting down to the root cause and identifying that. And sometimes they don't remember it. Sometimes the subconscious has blocked it because it is so traumatic.
Protect
And
them.
it's so painful. They don't remember it, but the subconscious does.
Yeah.
And the subconscious acts upon that through self-pleasure, self-seeking behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So by going down deep into the subconscious, we're able to identify what the root cause is. And then we can pass that along to the psychologist or the psychiatrist, which can then, through their techniques, deal with it. But however, what's that old saying? Candy is nice, but liquor is quicker. Psychotherapy is nice, but hypnotherapy is much quicker.
Faster still.
Yes, and Geotran is even the supersonic train.
That's right, the TGV.
it's the channel between London and Paris.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely first class, if at all possible.
Yes, definitely. So it's really looking at the individual and looking at what individual needs are. And that's what makes it so interesting. And that's what makes it so difficult to do generic hypnotherapy through doing actual hypnosis generically.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Individual. Yeah.
It doesn't work. So it has to really be specific to that person. And so.
And I just had a thought too. Ooh, you're not going to like this one. It's okay.
Okay.
I'll do positive points before I say it. De-stress it first. There are lots of very good reasons to go the Geotran route, to go to the hypnotherapy route, to go to some other route again. But remember to use your muscle testing, because it could be those exact addiction guinea pigs, those exact addiction gremlins saying, oh, let's take the long, slow, scenic route. Because what we don't want is for you to throw us off the train.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I mean by not landing in it.
Well, and that's one of the big issues with dealing with addictions is the secondary benefits. What are the secondary gains?
Yeah. Negative attention.
And for them, the negative attention is positive attention. At least they're getting attended to.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're being recognized. So they get that through vicarious means. And so there's a secondary gain back there. And with hypnotherapy, we're able to go into the subconscious and identify what that secondary gain is.
Yes.
And like in Geotran, once you identify it, it seems to collapse on itself.
Yeah.
That's true in hypnotherapy also. Once they identify it and deal with it, then it will collapse. But it does take reinforcing.
Yeah.
So addictions, it is a process. It's not an instantaneous change. So
probably the very best thing to do is actually what we are doing in this very program as we speak, which is to combine the two. So if we can release the pressure of the addiction by doing the Geotran addiction clearing, then the person perhaps is more able, as well as more likely, to examine, like if we pick up that rock, what's under there,
right.
That layer, what's under there.
Right.
So and that really is the key to sustainable transformation, is that we get down to the bedrock sooner or later, whatever techniques we're using to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. We do. So I'm just an impatient person, so I like to do it on a programming level.
I consider myself impatient and impulsive. And that's why I find hypnotherapy so interesting and so powerful, because it works so quickly.
Yeah.
But it's the slow train compared to Geotran.
So true. Okay, we're at 41 minutes. Do you feel you have time to do it, or do you feel inclined to do?
With addictions, doing a hypnotherapy with addictions, that really is very specific and generic. And because we have such a diverse watching audience, people can contact me for individual consultations. And I think that's probably what is a better route to go. It'd be more ethical route to go.
I have a thought. Okay, yeah. So first let's do a little self-promotion. You can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on my website, which is geotran.info. You can reach Dr. Kevin on his website, which is kevinrichardsontherapy.com. I have a Gmail address. He has a Gmail address. It's all, y'all know where to find us. And we're on Facebook. Okay. Yeah. But as we talk about addictions, I was talking to somebody in my Facebook group, my Geotran Global group, the other day. And I was remembering something that Dorothy, who was the creator of Geotran, had said, just totally in passing. Yeah. But, I've just finished this book that I've been writing with the dragons, and the dragons really jumped on this one too. He said, look, the human race as a whole has an addiction to death. And we can bring in all kinds of statistics and what have you, but the thing you need to understand is it's an addiction. And it's something that is made up by the human race. There are other sentient races that basically are, for all intents and purposes, immortal, apart from if they get sick or they're in an accident. But in terms of their actual cells just continuing, going on and on and on, we should be able to do that too. And there are people working on that. Okay, so that's great.
Yeah.
My point is, here we are talking about addictions. And we don't tend to think in terms of the entire species having addictions. Yeah?
Right.
The entire human race. Addiction to lack, addiction to not enough, addiction to chaos, addiction to death. Yeah?
Addiction to anger.
Yeah, coveting, craving, jealousy, envy, that's the big 4. Pharisee, hatred, greed, victim, grudges, that's the big 5. I won't worry, judgment, unforgiveness, blame, that's the big 6. But how we came up with these lists is by observing the human condition. So I wonder what it would look like if we got enough people together in one mind. That's the key. to have enough people in
One
one
mind.
mind, single-minded, and started clearing some of these human addictions. I mean, this is one of the reasons I go to the 4 big Geotrain classes every year, so that we have enough people in one mind and we always have an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, is there an addiction on this list somewhere? I mean, addiction death's a really big one. It's been going on for a really, really, really long time. So let's start with something a little bit small. And I'm just looking at the list, and I'm just running my spare hand. I've got my checking hand over here and my other hand over here, and I'm just going to run down here and see if it's got something. 100 to 105, 105 to 110, 105, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's that? Weakness.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? What was that popular phrase that was going around, I don't know, 20 years ago? It was, what we're not afraid of being strong. We're not afraid of being light. We're
not afraid of being weak.
Yeah. It's that what bothers us.
Yeah.
That we may be powerful beyond measure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a collective addiction to weakness, then that makes sense. Because we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves if we actually were being responsible for what we are creating. Now, is that something we can clear right now today? It says no, but there's something else in the list that is. Okay, I'm just giving an example here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's something over here. That one, 0 to 50, 50 to 60, 50 to 55. Ooh, this one came up earlier for me, struggle.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So this body person has an addiction to struggle. That part, meaning Dr. Kevin has a body person has an addiction to struggle. We both have an addiction to struggle. What do you say we clear that right now?
Let's get rid of that right now.
Okay, and everybody who's listening, who's willing to step into that with us, now is your moment. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're coning fingers, both hands. One on top of the head, one in the navel. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, and swap hands. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2. Whoa. So, Dr. Kevin has an addiction to struggle? No. Dr. Kyre has an addiction to struggle? No. Anybody who took part watching this, even as a replay, has an addiction to struggle? No.
Yay!
You see how easy this is. And here's the thing I really want to get across to anybody listening. When you clear it for yourself, then you're clearing it for your genetic line in both directions. You're clearing it for the people around you, particularly your family, your spouse, to the extent that they are willing to allow that. So you're not taking away their free will. If they insist on struggling, they can do that. But you're giving them an opportunity. You're showing them a door.
Correct.
And the more you align with who you are, and believe me, there is nobody who Divine Blueprint includes an addiction to struggle. Nobody comes out of the womb with an addiction to struggle. Right? So the more you align with who you are, the fewer addictions you're going to have, and the better example you're going to give to everybody around you, and the more you're going to help the collective be in better alignment with who they are and what we're all here to do, whatever that may be.
Now, I wonder, is there an addiction to abandonment?
Oh, gosh, yeah, it's actually on the list somewhere. Really, I should rearrange this list so it's actually in alphabetical order. I mean, not that I'm OCD myself, of course. If I were, I'd be calling it CDO, which would be in, of course, alphabetical order. Yeah. But yes, absolutely, abandonment. So let's ask the question, because the question has come up. Good question. Love that question. Is somebody on this call right now have an addiction to abandonment? Yes. So is it me? Yes. Is it you? Yes. For all I know, our lovely producer, Angie, may be addicted to abandonment, but I'm not going to check that without asking her permission. But yes, it comes up for a reason.
Mhm.
So I guarantee you there's somebody watching this who also has an addiction to abandonment, or same thing, the fear of abandonment. You can be
Yeah,
addicted to the fear. You could be
right.
addicted to the reality. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. I say we clear that right now. What do you think?
Let's get rid of that little puppy.
Cone fingers. One on top of the head, one in the navel. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2. And swap. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2. And seal. To God be the glory.
I felt that one.
Oh, and our lovely producer is saying, yes, it could be me.
Yes.
Not anymore. So Angie B has an addiction to abandonment, not anymore, an addiction to fear of abandonment. Nope, Angie B is completely clear of any kind of addiction around abandonment. Ta-da!
Yay. And,
Hey,
early in my career, I was really interested in adoptions because I was adopted
right.
as a baby.
Yeah, sure.
And with that, the research has shown that children that are adopted have huge issues with abandonment
Well, of course.
and disconnection with the universe and just being disconnected,
Yeah,
period.
total sense.
And what they found is that the connection to the mother is created in the womb.
Yes.
Before, they were thinking that when the child is born, they put the newborn on the mother's chest,
It helps too.
and
Yeah.
that's when the connection occurs. No,
Hmm.
the connection occurs in the womb.
Yeah.
So the baby knows that when they are removed from their mother and they're given to another mother, they know that other mother is not theirs.
It's not the right
They
one.
know that.
Yeah.
They know that by the heartbeat. They know that by the sound. They know that by the smell.
Yeah.
So that's a huge issue among the adopted population.
I can well imagine it. Yeah.
Less so because more adoptions are now open.
So they can.
Back when I was adopted, they were sealed. They
Yeah.
were closed. And even the basic demographical information about the baby and the mother and the father were false.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everything is false. So the child grows up in a world of false information.
And as well as the fear of abandonment and the issue, the addiction of abandonment, I would imagine that walks hand in hand with a fear of rejection or an addiction to rejection.
Yes. And being rejected.
Yeah, because we in our language, we make a differentiation between being rejected, rejecting others, fear of rejection. But in the field, they're all on the same spectrum.
On the same level.
Yeah. So let's check that one because it came up, because I checked my lovely little large list here. What? Rejection issues? Surely not. This body has an addiction in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Rejection. Dr. Kevin has an issue there somewhere.
Yeah.
And for all I know, our lovely producer also has one. Actually, it doesn't check that she does. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But let's clear it for us.
Yeah, let's do it for us.
Because there's plenty of it to go around.
And we don't need any more.
No, we don't. No. We are amply supplied. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is about addiction to rejection. Coming or going, doesn't matter. Okay, cone fingers. Top of the head, in the navel, 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, and swap. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, and seal. To God be the glory forever. Amen. So this body now has an addiction to rejection. This body, that is to say Dr. Kevin, now has an addiction to rejection. Nope. Anybody watching, insofar as you're willing to clear that, is now cleared.
Perfect.
That.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you even look around that one issue of adoption, the ways that the ripple effect of that. I mean, it's not just abandonment, it's not just rejection. There's issues of betrayal, there's issues potentially of disappointment, there's issues of
Not
less
trusting the environment,
not trusting the environment.
not trusting people.
Yeah. Lots and lots of issues just cluster around just that one core issue of
And
adoption.
seeking validation from others.
Yeah. I mean, in my family, we didn't have adoption issues, but I mean, all my life, I've run a little tape of always second, never first,
Right.
you know, or my friend who comes and helps me with the Geotrain classes is the oldest of 9.
Wow.
She has 4 brothers and 4 sisters, and most of them are halves and steps.
Wow.
So you want to talk about a confusion about what does and does not constitute family and where your circle of care lies. I mean,
Right.
she cares about all of them. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that she has this. I'm just saying that, I have one full sister. I have a half brother. I have a half sister on the other side. I have a step brother over on that side and a step brother over on that side. And it's like when somebody says to me, "Do you have any siblings?" I say, basically, I have one sister, because the rest don't really count for me. But you can see how this would bring up some of these issues.
Well, and it brings up family. What is family?
Yeah, what does family mean?
Because family is all about feeling
Mm.
and loving and caring.
In
And
theory,
when you grow up without feeling, because you have no feeling towards people that are caring for you, you know that they are caring, and you know that you think you know that they love you, or you're trusting that they do, but you're not sure.
and believe me, that's not just an issue of adopted families.
No, it's all these blended and mixed families where you have lots of issues with that. So
Then we get to look at, I mean, I love this list, but this list is by no means comprehensive in terms of the behaviors and the biochemical changes that are created by those behaviors. I mean,
right.
issues of legitimacy. What does that even mean? Issues of lovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah. Identity.
Identity.
You can have negative patterns around any of those leading to biochemical changes, and then you don't understand why your brain is not working, or your computers are not working the way you at least believe they are designed to work, but other people are telling you they are designed to work that way.
Yeah.
Well,
telling you how to act, how to respond, and you need to do this with your parent. And you're going, but you're not my parent. You're my legal parent, but the parent that I'm connected to, who are they?
Yeah, and my mom died when I was 21. So, if I had to look at parents, then I would look at my father's second wife, my stepmother. And he got married again, and I've never referred to her as my stepmother or thought of her as my stepmother, and I'm basically, not connected to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, isn't it just delightful, the things we put ourselves through?
Oh, such an interesting topic, and such a topic that you can go into detail with in more than just an hour.
Yeah. I think it would be great to do a whole show about repentance and forgiveness, because the most intelligent thing that was ever said to me on the level of family, and the fact that I don't get on with my family, or they don't get on with me, depending on how you look at it. I mean, they know I'm not criminal.
Yeah.
The teal sheep of the family. Was to say, why don't you go back to before you were born and repent of not having loved yourself enough to choose a family that would love you better.
Yeah.
That's an interesting level of responsibility and clearing.
Well, and with hypnotherapy, we can do forgiveness.
I know.
we can do a group forgiveness.
Let's
So
do
that
it
would be
next time.
fun to do.
Let's do it next time because we are out of time again.
Oh my God.
Ah!
We had so much fun, but we had a good discussion.
We had a very good discussion. Thank you, as ever, Dr. Kevin.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
My pleasure.
Oh, it's
Thank
so
you for
fun.
asking.
And thank you, our lovely producer, Angie B.
Yay, Angie.
Even now feeling wonderful about her life, I am sure, because of these clearings. And we will see you all next week. Everybody take care and get in touch with us if you'd like some help with addictions for you or for somebody else, because we love our work. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.